Now we have the trial that begins today in Paris for a group of armed robbers that are accused of tying up Kim Kardashian and stealing millions of dollars in jewelry from her during Fashion Week back in 2016.
A $24,000 diamond necklace found abandoned on a Paris street. A suspect who wrote a book titled "I Kidnapped Kim Kardashian." A mysterious chauffeur's brother who might have been the inside man. Are these the hallmarks of master criminals or the sloppiest celebrity heist in history? As the trial of the grandpa robbers unfolds, explosive testimony reveals contradictions that don't add up. With Kim Kardashian set to take the stand on May 13th, the world is watching to see if she'll expose what really happened when masked men stole $10 million in jewelry, and why most of it has never been found. A missing $4 million diamond engagement ring, a group of aging criminals with a flair for disguises, and answers that seem just out of reach. The Paris robbery wasn't just an audacious crime, it was the kind of scandal that left everyone asking, where's the truth and who's hiding it? Dubbed the grandpa robbers by the French media, the gang responsible for the heist became infamous not just for what they stole, but for how they went about it. While Paris hummed with the glamorous energy of Fashion Week in October 2016, these men, many in their 60s and even 70s, quietly slipped into action. Disguised as police officers, they got past security at the Hôtel de Portales, an exclusive residence often used by celebrities. Their target, Kim Kardashian, who at the time was one of the most talked about figures in the world. She was robbed at gunpoint in her own private suite, bound and terrified, while the masked men grabbed whatever jewels they could carry. The haul stunned the world. Over $10 million in jewelry, gone in a matter of minutes. But of all the stolen items, nothing captured public interest more than the 20-carat diamond ring that Kanye West had gifted Kim. Worth a staggering $4 million, it wasn't just a ring. It was a symbol of her highly publicized love story, a centerpiece of her persona. And yet, after all the arrests and confessions, with police investigating every lead for years, that single piece has never been recovered. It's as though it vanished into thin air, leaving many to wonder if there's more to this story than what's been revealed. Some believe the ring was quickly sold off, melted down, or broken apart, a common fate for such high-value pieces. The black market for stolen jewelry operates far from the public eye, often moving items through quick cash sales or into foreign territories where they're impossible to trace. But others think the truth is far murkier. Could the ring be sitting in a private collection, passed discreetly to someone powerful enough to ensure it stays hidden? Or worse, was there someone closer to Kim with insider knowledge who orchestrated its disappearance? The more time passes, the more these theories expand, feeding public skepticism about the true extent of the operation and who might have been pulling the strings. What makes this whole situation even more intriguing are the mistakes. The heist, which appeared calculated and smooth at first, unraveled in ways that raised eyebrows. Younis Abbas, one of the robbers, famously fumbled a $24,000 necklace during their escape, leaving it lying in the street like discarded trash. That detail alone sparked questions about just how professional this gang really was. If they could drop jewelry worth tens of thousands of dollars during the getaway, what else didn't go according to plan? Were these seasoned criminals as sharp as they appeared, or did something, or someone, throw their operation off balance? It feels like irony that the most distinctive and eye-catching item in the heist, the ring with its singular size and unmistakable design, was the one piece that vanished without a single trace. Unlike the necklace or other smaller items, this diamond has a presence that would make it nearly impossible to sell discreetly, adding yet another layer to the mystery. If the ring is somewhere out there, as intact and brilliant as it was when it left Kim's hand, someone would have to go through significant trouble to keep it hidden. That kind of effort suggests not just a random robbery, but something more calculated. Something possibly involving people more connected than we'd like to believe. According to experts in high-value jewelry crimes, tracking pieces like Kim's engagement ring is notoriously difficult. Many stolen items end up in underground markets, physically altered or smuggled across international borders within days. Some never resurface, becoming part of secret hoards or disappearing entirely as they're dismantled and sold for parts. But something about this case nags at investigators and the public alike. The stolen ring feels too iconic, too tied to one of the most public figures of the decade, to simply vanish without a trace. Was the robbery meant only for the jewelry? Or is the missing ring a clue to a larger operation, one possibly involving players that the public hasn't even been made aware of yet? It's impossible to talk about this case without mentioning the crime's symbolism. Kim, known for her glittering display of luxury and wealth, became the ultimate target in a city historically tied to fashion and privilege. To steal from her was to steal from the upper echelons of celebrity culture itself. That missing ring isn't just jewelry, it's a reminder of how vulnerable power and wealth can still be. And yet, its absence raises more questions than it answers. Could it represent something other than stolen wealth? Something tied to the people Kim surrounded herself with? Or the whispers about insider involvement that won't seem to go away? Even among the suspects, contradictions remain. Unita Abbas's eventual arrest, along with the others, happened quickly, surprising given the gang's supposedly sharp planning and experience. Their leader, Ait Kadashi, left DNA at the scene. Yet for all their experience and effort, the ring, the centerpiece of their prize, remains beyond reach. That imbalance, that unanswered puzzle, constantly sparks speculation. If these robbers were so sloppy, how did they keep the most valuable piece completely hidden? And this is where the speculation of something deeper, a cover-up perhaps, truly takes hold. The missing ring is the kind of question that doesn't just vanish. Who had access to Kim's life, her schedule, her vulnerabilities? Is there a connection we haven't been told about? The trial continues to unfold, but one thing is clear. That $4 million diamond isn't just lost, it's a lingering shadow over the entire case. But the mystery surrounding the ring is only the beginning. What happens when the crime suspects start talking, pointing fingers, writing books, and dragging even more details into the public eye? Stay with me for that. The robbery's biggest shockwaves come next. Unita Abbas might have been just another face in the trial, one of the grandpa robbers facing justice for the infamous heist. But then, he threw a curveball that changed everything, a tell-all book titled I Kidnapped Kim Kardashian. Written in 2021, the book wasn't just a memoir, it turned the robbery into entertainment, detailing the crime with a casualness that outraged the public. Abbas seemed to wear his involvement like a badge of honor, but once inside the courtroom, his story started to unravel. He claimed the book's title misrepresented his role entirely. In fact, he insisted he was never in Kardashian's hotel room that night. Instead, he worked as a lookout while others handled the dirty work. The sudden shift from boastful author to reluctant participant was unexpected and deeply suspicious. Was Abbas revising history to protect himself, or was the book itself an exaggerated version of events designed to capture headlines? That wasn't the only contradiction that came up during Abbas's testimony. Facing the court, he expressed something that caught everyone off guard: regret. I regret it not because I got caught, he said, but because there was a trauma. Trauma. A bold word to use given the violent nature of the crime and its chilling effect on Kim Kardashian. But the regret seemed out of step with his actions over the years, particularly the way his book portrayed his involvement. He wasn't depicted as a remorseful criminal in his writing. If anything, the tone came off as cavalier, almost opportunistic. Between the courtroom confession and his decision to profit from his notoriety, the public was torn. Was Abbas genuinely remorseful, or simply putting on a show now that legal consequences were catching up with him? We also can't ignore the alleged insider role that sent shockwaves through the courtroom, the accusations against Gary Madar. If you've never heard the name, that makes sense. Madar wasn't just a low-profile figure, he was someone who should have been on Kardashian's side. Here's the twist. Madar is the brother of Kim's trusted Paris chauffeur, the man responsible for safely driving her around the city during Fashion Week. Not only that, but Madar himself had once worked briefly for Kourtney Kardashian. Allegations suggest Madar provided insider information to the robbers, tipping them off about Kim's location, her vulnerabilities, and most importantly, the lack of security in the hours leading up to the heist. That knowledge, combined with the robbers' precise timing, raised eyebrows. How else would they have known to strike at the exact right moment, when Kim was alone, unprotected, and at her most vulnerable? But if you ask Madar, he'll deny any involvement. He maintains he wasn't part of the plan, that he never sold out information. Yet the level of detail the robbers had makes his denial harder to fully accept. This wasn't the kind of crime you could pull off with guesses or sheer luck. The timing, the location, even information about Kardashian's jewelry, all of it would have required someone close to the inner workings of her schedule. And let's not forget, trust is what got Kim into that hotel suite to begin with. The Hôtel de Portales was more than just another Parisian address. It was considered safe, private, quiet. So how did the robbers know when safety wasn't guaranteed? The trial raises an uncomfortable question. Could this have been an elaborate celebrity setup? The gang's amateurish getaway only deepens the mystery. It's not like we're talking about a team operating with flawless precision. Once the heist was done, Abbas himself hopped on a bicycle to escape, creating a scene that felt more like a bad movie than a well-executed criminal plan. Jewelry was dropped. Not just small pieces that could go unnoticed, but high-value items, like a $24,000 necklace, left behind for police to find. Even now, it's hard to reconcile the sloppiness of the execution with the meticulousness of the planning. On one hand, they clearly knew where to go and when to strike. On the other hand, their escape felt downright unprofessional. Dropped necklaces, abandoned jewels, and a bike getaway. It doesn't track. What looked at first like careful expertise transformed into chaos when it mattered most. If they messed up so badly with the small details, could something else, something bigger, have gone wrong during the heist? Crimes of this scale often have insider help. It wouldn't be the first time. In fact, history's full of similar cases where celebrities were targeted because insiders fed their movements to the wrong people. Take Aaron Paul, the Breaking Bad star, whose Hollywood home was broken into while he and his wife were away. The burglars knew what to take. Or Paris Hilton, who became a victim of the now infamous Bling Ring, a group of robbers who used social media and tips from her circle to track her whereabouts. The Kardashian case, with its layers of public access and private connections, fits a pattern we've seen before. Celebrity life draws people in. Those closest can sometimes be the biggest security risk. While nothing has been proven against Madar yet, the insider's role in making heists possible isn't just plausible, it's practically expected. So where does this leave us? Abbas's dramatic confessions and contradictions don't clarify much. If anything, they make the story murkier. Madar's potential involvement, whether proven or not, leaves a bitter taste, a sense of betrayal that no courtroom verdict can erase. Both men's stories are riddled with inconsistencies, and at least for now, the public's left to connect the dots. The trial may conclude soon, but it's hard to imagine this chapter closing until the questions surrounding insider roles are fully resolved. And yet, the biggest question remains for the most famous voice in this case, Kim Kardashian herself. Her testimony is set to be a defining moment, one that could finally cut through the contradictions, the denials, the half-admissions, and lay bare what really happened. Will she bring clarity to this tangled web, Or will her words only make the mystery even deeper? With everyone on edge, waiting to hear her speak, the next chapter of this courtroom drama is set to explode. The Paris robbery left a lasting mark on Kim Kardashian, not just in lost jewels, but in ways that changed her forever. In her own words, the heist forced a reckoning. "I haven't really been about wearing jewelry because I was ready to, give it up." That moment, the fear, the powerlessness, still lingers, even as the trial unearths new secrets about betrayal and the missing diamond. All eyes now shift to Kim's testimony. Will her side of the story finally unravel the contradictions, or will it only deepen the mystery that's captivated the world? This isn't over. Stay tuned.